Alright, so I'm LaughingGamer and I'm going to be making this Destiny video out to Mellow Gamer. As to why? Well, if you're watching his live stream the other night, he was asking me if I could make him a video to describe the classes of Destiny. So the classes are, there are only 3 at this time: a Warlock, a Titan, and a Hunter. As you can see, my Titan and Hunter are a little bit lower, but we're going to focus on the Warlock for right now. The Warlock video will feature the 3 specials, the basic abilities, and some of the gear. If anybody else is watching this and knows a little bit more information about Warlocks and how they work, and want to input their info, please do. I want as much as you can. So for each class there are 3 subclasses. For the Warlock there's Sunsinger, Stormcaller, and Voidwalker. Well, we'll start off with the Sunsinger. The basic abilities for a Sunsinger are basically defense. Doesn't look like it, but you have your gliding, with your jump, your radiance. This is your special, your super. For the Warlock, and is the only one who can do a self-res. As you look down here, well, Radiance is active. Radiance reduces all cooldowns for nearby allies. Therefore, if you activate this sucker and you're in, like, I don't know, a PvP match, you'll be able to throw way more grenades. Reduces incoming damage, ergo you get a nice beautiful shield. And then finally, your Fireborn, where you res. Me personally, I use the Warlock Sunsinger subclass as a sort of solo Nightfall class. Now, nowadays, Nightfall is a lot more lenient. Back in the good old days, Nightfall kicked you out if you died once, and you would have to start from the very beginning. Now you can start from checkpoints. I think it's a little silly, but that's just me. As you've noticed, the subclasses have their own, elements, probably. Hopefully you did. This one has Scorch. This one's the fire base. Now each class has their own little variants of what is in these sections here. These next 9? Yeah, 9. These ones just up ability and so on. Don't have any real abilities. But this one here, the middle row, Radiant Will increases the duration of Radiance. Ergo, this thing. 2, Viking Funeral. Targets afflicted by Ignite take more damage from all sources. Stacks up to 3 times. So basically, if you have 3 Sunsingers, woohoo! You just throw them a bunch of grenades at them. Killing an enemy with Scorch generates an Orb of Light. Ergo, you melee somebody, and if you have a full charged melee stat, you get an Orb of Light, which helps charge your Radiance. Now we go to the 3 sort of like special things for a class. Touch of Flame, Angel of Light, and Gift of Sun is what the Sunsinger have. Gift of the Sun, you gain an additional grenade. Angel of Light, weapon while airborne, so basically you float. It's really cool. And Touch of Flame. All grenades ignite enemies, causing damage over time. Ergo, that's why I have Viking Funeral. Okay. So now I'm going to go into some of the gameplay without going over all the rest, because I'll show you the basic 3... the 3 specials and how they work. And I'll show you, hopefully, let's see here, what should we do? Ooh. Specialist, eh? We'll do Rumble. That's actually, hold on, Day of Mayhem? Nope. Alright. Excuse me.
To reach a consensus as to the best buttons for each move, there are 3 words that strike fear into the heart of any player. Different button mapping. What is shoot in every gun-wielding game is run in the Assassin's Creed series, and to run in Rockstar games you have to tap A or X, whereas every other game you have to push in the left stick. And talking of A or X, it's doubly confusing if you switch to an Xbox game after playing on PlayStation. When a game tells you to press X, you do, but you forget you've switched consoles and you accidentally press A, causing your character to do a happy little jump instead. Do not mock me, main character. I control you. And speaking of jumping, it was particularly annoying in Fallout 4 where A was mapped to interact rather than jump. I had to remap the buttons because I tried to jump over a rock, but was actually trying to force my character to interact with it. I'll make your face interact with a rock in a minute. But seriously, if you jump back into an old save when you've recently been playing another game, it's a real pain in the ass trying to unlearn and relearn.
I'm tracking reports of fallen splicers spotted in and around the Hellmouth. Intel suggests they're hunting ogres. Sure they don't snatch up any more fodder for their twisted experiments.
No time for sightseeing, you two. Hit the summoning pits before the devil splicers can grab any more abominations for their priests to play around with.
By play around, you mean torture, vivisect, and disembowel?
So with each class,
yeah,
they have their own little...
But when you put it that way, I almost feel bad for the Hive.
So why the Hive? Seems like a dangerous fight to pick.
The splicers are plain God. They view Siva as a means to reshape life how they see fit. The Hive are just victims of the splicers' willingness to push their curiosity.
So as we're going through here, I'm going to show the basics of what it's like to be a Warlock. The Warlock classes I find are a little bit more play back kind of style. Some people can play it forward really, really nicely. I'm sort of like in between. As I said, I did use this to solo. I am being so chill. Get out of my way. Okay. I wonder if they can hear me. I'm gonna try to see.
You have to admire the Hive's tenacity. They close this gate every time.
Fire team.
Every single
Fire team.
time.
Fire team. Fire team. Okay.
The Hive don't want us or anyone through this door.
We'll go through the basic grenade types. For Warlock, they have the sort of like normal scorch grenade, which is this thing. Giant, beautiful orb of fire. This damages enemies for a long time. And really helpful with the Ignite. Like, really super helpful
The
with
lock's
Ignite.
fighting me, like everything else the Hive made. Hold on.
Oh man. To help make this a little bit clearer, I will also do this for a second. Audio, game volume, basically all the way down. Need to be able to hear some of it. Okay. So it's basically, you know, shoot, blah blah blah. Scorch gets them ignited, and you die. And I died, but that's okay. Now notice how it says Damien has been generating orbs. He's using a Titan. We'll go into that later. The Titan's a really fun class, I must admit, especially with the addition of certain classes and subclasses. It's become a lot of fun to play.
The pattern here is chaotic. I think I figured it out. Just one more room to crack.
One more room to crack. Okay, this is where stuff just starts spawning like crazy. Okay, so that's him. Okay, I now have my super, so if I can show you, probably not here, but soon I'll be able to show you the first special.
Room's clear. We're through.
And I'll show you by dying because it will make it way more sensible. I use this because it was the best way of playing solo if you are a little bit reserved with your play style. You can play all by yourself. He just popped his super. You know, I'm going to use him as an example. This is actually the Thunder, the Stormcaller's super. It basically allows you to use the Sith Lightning. It's really sick. Okay, well, can't use it here. I'm going to keep going. No point in using a super until you absolutely need it. Scory's Harmony. Yeah.
You'd think I'd be used to that by now. I'm not.
Let's see here. Down here I'll be able to use this easily.
Watch your feet. There are traps everywhere.
I've noticed that. So, basically, when in my super as a Sunsinger, usually would have been helpful if I used this after I died, but that's okay. Your cooldowns basically become highly short. You're able to pop supers like nobody's business. You can just, oh sorry, not your supers. You can pop basic abilities like your grenade and your melee pretty fast. If you have the right equipment on, you can make it go even faster. It's really helpful if you're trying to get grenade kills, which in some of these things you really want. Now, you know, I should actually switch my subclass so I can show you the next subclass. The next subclass we're going to do is the Stormcaller, because although we've seen it, we haven't really looked at it yet. The three grenades for a Stormcaller is the Pulse Grenade, the Storm Grenade, and the Arc Bolt Grenade. This is more of a thing you should try out for yourself to figure out what grenades you like, but I'll basically show you a demonstration here as soon as I can load this thing up. If I can load this thing up. Oh, it said this guy could generate orbs of light. There we go. Okay, we got the first grenade. The first grenade is kind of like the Sunsinger's Scorch grenade. It sort of just, you know, sits in one spot and generally does general damage a lot.
So try real hard not to fall.
Oh wow. First time I faced these guys here. Whoosh. The second type of grenade we have.
Let's jump.
Oops. Shouldn't have done that there. Woo. We're safe. Is the Storm Grenade. When I first started playing the Stormcaller, the Storm Grenade was kind of my bae. It was my bae. I love the Storm Grenade. The Storm Grenade, basically, I toss it, and where it lands, a thunderbolt just calls down from the sky, and then a whole bunch more do the same. Really helpful for certain positions and certain situations. Now, again, we'll show you the super. the super, you call the wrath of thunder and lightning. Basically, you become Darth Maul, or Darth Vader, or anybody who can use the Sith lightning. Really, truly, and you can just wipe the field of like randoms. It's great if you're trying to wipe out a bunch of ads all at once. It becomes really, really, really useful. The other cool part about the Stormcaller is the fact that it has the longest range for a melee attack. And I know people are screaming at right now going, actually the Hunter does, but we'll go to that in a second. If you notice, I hit him from a melee strike from there. That's a long ways away to hit with a melee strike. I'm gonna die here. Just using a sword to help mop up these guys a bit. Just a bit, just a bit, just a bit. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I almost got totally ganked there. Okay. Run away, run away, run away, wait. Oh, can't run that way. Okay. Go here. Now I'll show you the final, the final grenade of the Arc subclass known as Stormcaller, which is the Arc Bolt Grenade. I haven't really found this one that useful. It is, but it isn't to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Ooh, I just made them go after him. Whoops. Okay. I need to find an enemy for the Arc Bolt Grenade to show how this works. Oh, perfect. So the Arc Bolt Grenade kind of stops in one spot, and then it sort of like scans the area, and then when it finds an enemy, it'll shoot a bolt of lightning at it. Really helpful if you're trying to like play a more forward class of the Warlock. For the most part, Warlock classes are pretty reserved, I must say. Finally, we'll have the Void Walker. The Void Walker basically is your bomb maker. I realized I was going through all the stats, but basically the gameplay is pretty much the same for all the Warlock classes. Void Walker is a little bit different. So, yeah, Void Walker. In the fact that it's more of an AoE type dealer. And my personal favorite for PvE, some people may have their own preferences. We just killed the boss, so I'm going to have to go to another strike to show you the end of this. I was complete and utter garbage in that. Well, I'll thank them for dealing with me anyways. Well, we have 15 seconds. Hold on a minute. With 15 seconds, I can definitely show you the grenade. The Vortex Grenade. It's basically like the Scorched Grenade and the Shock Grenade. It does the exact same thing as everything else. Just, you know, stays in one point and damages an area. Stays a lot less time though. The Void Walker is kind of like the short and quick to the point type of skill set. Definitely more of, for you Mellow, definitely more of the straightforward shooter you were looking for. Let's see here. We'll go to the Scatter Grenade for the next one. Scatter Grenade is pretty good. We'll go over some of the abilities while I'm waiting for the next thing to start. Surge, this is your energy drain, this is your melee. The difference in the melee is the fact that you can, this one does energy drain while the other one does, you know, Scorch and Ignite. This one sort of just drains the person's shield. Really good for PvE, not so good for PvE because most of the enemies don't have shields, and the ones that do, you kind of can get them down faster just by shooting them, especially with a shotgun. Right. Lifesteal, again energy drain, soul rip again. This one just charges your super faster when you hit an enemy with your melee. Now, your super for Void Walker is a Nova Bomb. Basically, think of like a nuke. A very confined, perfectly aimed, has to hit the proper spot nuke. Because otherwise, if you're hiding behind a rock, sometimes your Nova Bomb will do jack all to the enemy. Or, you know, you'll hit a tiny little leaf in front of you that's supposed to be not texture, but it is, and, well, you just wasted a Nova Bomb. The other thing you have to be careful for is a lot of the grenades for the Void Walker hurt yourself. sorry, the scatter grenade itself actually hurts yourself, so you don't want to use it too close, and I'll show you what I mean. For the specials, we have... Oops. Oh, good, I have some time here.
I'm detecting a series of concentric barriers around the bridge site.
We have the Vortex Mastery, increases the range of Axiom Bolt Seekers and the duration of Vortex effects of a Nova Bomb and Vortex Grenade. The Vortex Grenade was the nice, big, sparkly one. It makes it so that way my grenade would actually last longer. Bloom, enemies killed by your any abilities. Explode, that's kind of fun. Really good if you're playing PvE with lots of just tiny mobs you want to get rid of. Killing enemies with Nova Bombs or any grenade triggers energy drain and restores your health. That could be helpful if you want to really sort of like go at it. Ooh, I still have my broomstick. Sorry. We're just going to catch up to them so we can keep going. These guys are pretty good. I like these guys. They're pretty dope. They're playing pretty well, and I like it. Sometimes you play this game and you just are with halfless wits. And trust me, everybody who plays Destiny agrees with me. A lot of the time you play with halfless wits. Okay, so the scatter grenade makes a bunch of tiny little grenades that explode everywhere. If I was too close to that, though, I would die. Or I would just die, period. Looks like that's the general consensus here, is I just die. And there was my void. If you notice, it did explode. That was all thanks to that, you know, if you hit or kill an enemy with your grenade or melee, they explode. We're also going to go down to this last grenade, which is the Axion Bolt. Please tell me I selected it. I did. The Axion Bolt is actually kind of fun. I like the Axion Bolt myself. I'll let them grab that, and I'll start wiping out enemies over here. I'll show you what the Axion Bolt does. When I chuck that thing, if you notice, it's going to send out little tiny seeker grenades. Very helpful if you want to play PvE and somebody goes around a corner and you're just like, well, I don't think so. I'm going to, you know, draw you out a bit. So you just pop that sucker down and you can just wipe the floor with them. It's a lot of fun. Here we go. Let's see here. I might have to make one video per super, it seems, or per class. Okay, so the super is this. You shoot a Nova Bomb. As you see, I had 3 Nova Bombs kind of come out of there. That was because of... Let's see here. This ability, Shatter. Splits the Nova into 3 projectiles. This one, this whole tree here kind of controls how your super acts. It's really interesting and very helpful. So this is the kind of playstyle for PvE of the Warlock. PvP is kind of more along the lines of I used either... You can use all 3 in PvE. You kind of have to learn the class to really make it work for you, I find. It took me a long time to make the Warlock work for me, as well as some people. Digi, my brother, he's a master at a Warlock. He's played Warlock longer than I think anybody has. But this is my Warlock video. Mellow, I'll upload also a Hunter video as well as a Titan video. It might take me a bit because I don't have my Titan or my Hunter up as much as I do my Warlock. As I said, I played this one first, and I played this one hardcore, and I made it work for me. So I really like this one. So, Toodle Pip, and I'll see you in the next video there, Mellow. And everybody else on YouTube who's watching this. Toodle Pip! And remember to laugh.